Kia ora, welcome back everybody. Hey, I have received a number of requests to do a reaction to the Medal of Honor recipient, Master Sergeant Roy Benavidez, US Army. I have heard bits and pieces of this guy's story. I've never seen the video of it. This was the video link that I was sent. It's about 10.5 minutes long. I think it's from a group or a company that honors Medal of Honor recipients in the US. So let's jump in.
Hi, my name is Bill Butler, Chief of Staff at the National Veterans Memorial and Museum. Today we want to celebrate the life and heroism of Master Sergeant Roy P. Benavidez. We're doing this in partnership with the National Medal of Honor Heritage Center to honor and recognize Medal of Honor recipients throughout our history.
First off, that's awesome that they've got this here and that they do something like this specifically to honor the Medal of Honor recipients. I'm sure they do a whole bunch of other stuff with other military personnel and that as well, I'm guessing, but it's pretty awesome. I don't think I've heard of anything like that here in NZ or in Australia specifically. Maybe there is. I'm no war military history buff by any means, so just because I haven't heard of it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. But it's pretty cool to hear this guy talk about what they do and how they go about honoring their servicemen and women. Just the patriotism. I've shared this on a couple of other videos that America, at least in my perception, seems to have is second to none, man. It's powerful, especially when you see it and then you hear it, and even when you're in amongst it as well. It's pretty impressive.
Here at the National Veterans Memorial and Museum, we are unique in that we share the story of the veteran experience with America. We don't have any tanks on our lawn or field artillery pieces outside the front door or helicopters suspended from the ceiling. We share the stories of veterans from all areas of service, all branches of service throughout our history.
That is awesome. Okay, so through all areas, not just Medal of Honor recipients. And I love the fact that it's low key. They don't have any of the equipment that he spoke about out on the front lawn or in the front of their building where this is. That's a nice touch. That's awesome.
So I want to talk about Master Sergeant Roy P. Benavidez. He was born on August 5th, 1935, to a Mexican farmer and a Yaqui Indian mother in Texas. He joined the Texas Army National Guard in 1953 during the Korean War, and then transitioned to active duty in 1955, serving in the 82nd Airborne Division and then the 5th Special Forces Group. His service in Special Forces took him to Vietnam, where he fought courageously and valiantly in 1968. And we want to talk about his story and his experience and what he termed 6 hours of hell. On February 24th, 1981, President Ronald Reagan presented Roy P. Benavidez with the Medal of Honor in the Pentagon. Reagan turned to the press and said, and I quote, "If the story of his heroism were a movie script, you would not believe it." The President of the United States of America.
If the story of his heroism, if I heard this right, was a movie script, you would not believe it. Wow, that's powerful. Just hearing that. If his story were a movie script, you would not believe it. What has he done? Like I said, I've heard bits and pieces about him going in to save his peers or his colleagues, his brothers in arms. Other than that, I don't know the details.
Authorized by Congress, March 3rd, 1863, is awarded in the name of the Congress the Medal of Honor to Master Sergeant Roy P. Benavidez, United States Army, retired.
Let me read the plain, factual military language of the citation that was lost for too long a time. On May 2nd, 1968, Master Sergeant, then Staff Sergeant Roy P. Benavidez distinguished himself by a series of daring and extremely valorous actions while assigned to Detachment B-56, 5th Special Forces Group Airborne, 1st Special Forces, Republic of Vietnam. On the morning of May 2nd, 1968, a 12-man Special Forces reconnaissance team was inserted by helicopters in a dense jungle area west of Loc Ninh, Vietnam, to gather intelligence information about confirmed large-scale enemy activity. This area was controlled and routinely patrolled by the North Vietnamese Army. After a short period of time on the ground, the team met heavy enemy resistance and requested emergency extraction. 3 helicopters attempted extraction, but were unable to land due to intense enemy small arms and anti-aircraft fire. Sergeant Benavidez was at the forward operating base in Loc Ninh monitoring the operation by radio when these helicopters returned to offload wounded crew members and to assess aircraft damage.
Wow, so far, a couple of things stand out to me. One, you got the President of the United States reading out the citation for Mr. Benavidez in regards to his gallant, valorous, courageous actions in Vietnam. The fact that I think I heard 3 choppers tried to get in, or was it 4? 3 or 4 choppers tried to get in to do an extraction, but sounds like they couldn't. They've managed to insert a team of a dozen or so operators, special operations or special forces soldiers, into this area where they are, and now they are in the thick of it. They're under the pump. They're surrounded. They're being attacked by, I think he said, the North Vietnamese in that area. So, and Mr. Benavidez is monitoring this, sounds like via radio from, must be a forward operating base or somewhere. He's not physically there in the thick of what's happening right now. So just awesome that the president's there reading this, going through it, and we can see whether or not these are the actual clips. I'm guessing they may just be clips in general of time during the Vietnam War, but just we haven't even gotten into the meat of it. I don't think. This is just setting the scene. So for me, it's building up a heck of a lot to the point where I'm thinking, okay, what has he done? When's it going to happen? So let's get back into
I was in another staging area waiting for our next assignment when I heard on the radio something like a popcorn machine. Then I heard a voice, "Get us out of here, get us out of here, come in and get us out quick, ASAP." I asked the radio operator, "Who are those?" He said, "I don't know. They haven't gave us any call sign." And I saw some helicopter pilot run to the flight line, scrambling. I ran right behind him.
Sergeant Benavidez voluntarily boarded a returning aircraft to assist in another extraction attempt.
So I love that. He's heard the chatter over the radio. Please for help, get us out of here. Asking somebody who's there, they don't know. He sees pilots running out to, I guess, to their choppers, to the tarmac, to the LZ, to jump in their choppers and likely head off. And he says, I just ran right behind them. Wow. And now I'm hearing the president again carrying on. He voluntarily boarded a chopper and he's heading there. Now, I don't know if there's anybody else with him or if it's just him, but hopefully there's other people with him.
I saw a bag of medical supplies. I picked it up, went over to my helicopter, got on the helicopter. We got on with the forward air controller. The guy that's in, he said, "You can't go in there. You can't go in. It's too hot." Little did I know that I was going to spend 6 hours in hell.
Realizing that all the team members were either dead or wounded and unable to move to the pickup zone, he directed the aircraft to a nearby clearing where he jumped from the hovering helicopter and ran approximately 75 meters under withering small arms fire to the crippled team.
Wow. He's grabbed the medical kit. Good thinking, obviously very switched on. That may come in handy, but not knowing, if I heard right, that most of the team are either dead or badly wounded. Because I'm pretty sure it said only 12, and I think I heard there's 8 dead or something like that. 8 dead and or wounded. They couldn't get in, by the sounds of things, to where they wanted to get in. Sorry, I keep saying they. I'm only There's only one image in here, and it seems like it's just him. So, right. Then they've landed. Well, he's jumped out of a hover jump to get out of the chopper away from where it is, and then he's needed to run 6 hours. He's saying, far out. I'm thinking of Kyle Morgan and the 6 or 7 hours that he spent at the Radisson Blu Hotel, and thinking of the Christian Craigheads and his time in Nairobi and the courageous actions that he did there. Like this guy here, back then, about to spend 6 hours, people are dead.
Prior to reaching the team's position, he was wounded in his right leg, face, and head. Despite these painful injuries, he took charge, repositioning the team members and directing their fire to facilitate the landing of an extraction aircraft and the loading of wounded and dead team members. He then threw smoke canisters to direct the aircraft to the team's position. Despite his severe wounds and under intense enemy fire, he carried and dragged half of the wounded team members to the awaiting aircraft. He then provided protective fire by running alongside the aircraft as it moved to pick up the remaining team members. As the enemy's fire intensified, he hurried to recover the body and the classified documents on the dead team leader. When he reached the team leader's body, Sergeant Benavidez was severely wounded by small arms fire in the abdomen and grenade fragments in his back. At nearly the same moment, the aircraft pilot was mortally wounded and his helicopter crashed. Although in extremely critical condition due to his multiple wounds, Sergeant Benavidez secured the classified documents and made his way back to the wreckage, where he aided the wounded out of the overturned aircraft and gathered the stunned survivors into a defensive perimeter.
I got to pause it. Holy heck. No wonder they said if this was a movie script, you wouldn't believe it. This is amazing. Like I'm not doubting it at all. I'm just blown away. So he's been, I think when he jumped out and was running 70 meters or so to get to where the injured and the dead were, he got shot in the leg, got injured in the face or something in that as well. So I don't know whether it's shot in the leg and shot in the face and somewhere else, maybe in the body. I think there was three significant injuries to him. Maybe it was frag from a grenade. That might have been the third piece. But he's had all of that. Then he's reorganizing the troops. He's getting them, coordinating who's still alive, who's able to fight, to get them back in the fight, so to speak. I'm sure they weren't out of it. But having, I was going to say fresh, but he's just been shot in the leg, fragged with grenade, and he's injured in the face as well. So I don't know about fresh. But having somebody there with the wherewithal, with the intelligence, with the experience, with the skill, with the courage, all of that sort of stuff to go in there and then start trying to coordinate them so that they can form a sort of defensive position that can give them an opportunity at least, or a chance, as slim as it sounds like it may have been, and may have seemed like hope was lost. Maybe. I'm not saying that that's what those soldiers felt like at all, but clearly that wasn't the case for Mr. Benavidez here. He's organizing things and getting everybody in the fight going, just having the awareness, finding the commander, getting the tactical, sensitive information off the leader, off the patrol commander, or whoever that individual was that was leading. Sadly, it sounds like that person was deceased, had been killed. But just to get that, and then running alongside the chopper, I heard that as well. Running alongside the chopper to provide covering fire. Tragically, it sounds like the pilot was fatally hit. The chopper crashed. But this is just chaotic. President's right. Like you look at the script and you'd be thinking, oh man, what do you want to make a movie like this for, to try to blow it out of proportion? Like, this stuff didn't happen. I could see how people might look at it, something like that, if they were just reading it for the first time. But man, I hope we get to hear more of Mr. Benavidez talking about it. So we've heard bits and pieces. I love hearing the president speak and read the citation and the actions and everything of what took place. But I hope we get to hear from the man himself. This is crazy.
Under increasing enemy automatic weapons and grenade fire, he moved around the perimeter, distributing water and ammunition to his weary men, reinstilling in them a will to live and fight. Facing a buildup of enemy opposition with a beleaguered team, Sergeant Benavidez mustered his strength and began calling in tactical airstrikes and directing the fire from supporting gunships to suppress the enemy's fire and so permit another extraction attempt. He was wounded again in his thigh by small arms fire while administering first aid to a wounded team member just before another extraction helicopter was able to land.
I think I missed the part as well before it mentioned just then again that he's been wounded again in the thigh. So shot again. But I think before that, when I was talking, I think I forgot. I'm pretty sure I heard them say he got wounded in the abdomen. So this guy's been shot by the sounds of things multiple times. He's been hit with frag from grenades. And who knows what else has been impacting or hitting him during this time. But this is nuts, man. Everything that's happening. Wow. Trying to support his men. Rendering medical assistance where he can. Then he gets shot in the leg on this part that I just heard. Crazy. Awesome. I'll say that. Awesome that this guy has gone through this and lived to not tell the tale, but lived, for his family, for his brothers, for people like me that get to see this and react to this just incredible human being and what he's done and what he was able to do at this time.
His indomitable spirit kept him going as he began to carry his comrades to the craft. On his second trip with the wounded, he was clubbed from behind by an enemy soldier. In the ensuing hand-to-hand combat, he sustained additional wounds to his head and arms before killing his adversary. He then continued under devastating fire to carry the wounded to the helicopter. Upon reaching the aircraft, he spotted and killed 2 enemy soldiers who were rushing the craft from an angle that prevented the aircraft door gunner from firing upon them.
And I've got to pause it. There's way too much for me to remember unless I just pause it every single blinking few words. But there's a piece in there that I heard about hand-to-hand combat. He was running backwards or either going back, grabbing somebody else, going to the chopper. I heard a piece, I think it sounded like he got whacked in the head or whatever, back of the head. And now he's engaged in hand-to-hand, up close and personal, hand-to-hand combat with the enemy force who outnumbers him and his team. And he neutralizes that threat, takes that threat out, kills that person, or I don't know if there was more than one person in terms of hand-to-hand combat. But what an absolute legend, machine, warrior, whatever, anything positive that you want to describe this man as is warranted. Like just listening to this is nuts. And then that last bit that I think I heard, he takes out another 2 guys. I don't know if that's with a gun. The image that I saw was a person with a gun as guys are rushing towards, coming towards the chopper at an angle that prevented the door gunners from being able to get rounds onto where they were coming from. So just, this guy is everywhere. It's like a phantom or the ghost. It's just blinking. But he's not a ghost because he's been badly shot and wounded multiple times and involved in hand-to-hand combat. And I love the comment that the president said, his indomitable spirit. You know what I mean, in case I've said it wrong. But just no holding him back. There's no holding him down. He's just relentless in his pursuit of saving his men, saving his brothers, getting them to the chopper, getting them out of there, getting the tactical information, sensitive information, so that the enemy can't get it, whilst being badly injured. That's all I can say.
With little strength remaining, he made one last trip to the perimeter to ensure that all classified material had been collected or destroyed and to bring in the remaining wounded. Only then, in serious condition from numerous wounds and loss of blood, did he allow himself to be pulled into the extraction aircraft. Sergeant Benavidez' gallant choice to join voluntarily his comrades who were in critical straits, to expose himself constantly to withering enemy fire, and his refusal to be stopped despite numerous severe wounds saved the lives of at least 8 men. His fearless personal leadership, tenacious devotion to duty, and extremely valorous actions in the face of overwhelming odds were in keeping with the finest traditions of the military service and reflect the utmost credit on him and the United States Army.
Man. Saved the lives of at least 8 operators, 8 men. I don't know how many died, and may they rest in peace, those that passed away, but far out. Saved 8 people with all of that was going on to him. Like, I don't know how close the wounds that he's suffered, being shot once, let alone multiple times, which he clearly has, and very early on, once he just first hit the ground, then being there for, I think they said 6 hours of hell, or he described as 6 hours of hell. Far out. And still going while you're losing that blood, while you're still maintaining, staying in the fight, while you're still organising the men that he's got left, while collecting, tragically, sadly, the dead bodies of his brothers that have been killed. If not all of them, then at least as many of them as he could. Then the information, like they've mentioned that a few times, just the awareness to make sure that, hey, we need to get those maps, we need to get any notes or documentation that might be here, we need to do or he needs to, I'm saying we, in terms of thinking that there may have been somebody else with him, but it's him that's doing all of this. He needs to do another sweep, or feels the need to do another sweep to make sure that there's no information left as best as possible, but priority also being to get the bodies of his comrades, his brothers. Far out, man. This is awesome. This is awesome.
You heard what the president read, the citation of how I earned the Medal of Honor. But he didn't tell you of what I went through when I engaged in the hand-to-hand combat. I was hitting them out with the butt of the weapon. My jaws were locked. After my last return back to the helicopter, when I was boarded on, I was holding my intestines in my hand. And I remember that my feet had been lifted, and I was inserted into the body bag, and I could hear that zipper coming up, and I thought, oh my God, no. My eyes were shut because I had blood all over my face, my eyes, and the blood had dried up in my eyelids. And I couldn't talk because my jaws were locked, and I could hear that zipper coming up. I'll find out later, Jerry Cottenham made that doctor at least to feel my heartbeat. When I felt that hand on my chest, I made the luckiest shot I ever made in my life. I spit in the doctor's face.
Hang on. I'm going to pause it there. I could hear some laughing in the background. That last part made me laugh, but nothing was making me laugh or smile leading up to that. I was just, first, if I can try to get it in as much of an order as I can, going off memory of what I've just heard. He spoke about the president reading the citation. He said that the president didn't talk about the hand-to-hand combat. I thought the president did, but maybe obviously not to the detail of what he's just described, or maybe not to the level of what he's just described. But I thought he mentioned something. I thought he said he got whacked in the back of the head and then engaged in hand-to-hand combat. I thought that's what the president said, but this guy's saying he got whacked in the jaw. Can you imagine being smacked, let alone with the butt of a weapon, but with any sort of object right into your jaw? And the fact that his jaw is now locked. Not only the disorientation, not only the pain, not only the fact that that person has got the upper hand on you, like they've just stunned you, they've just dazed you with that crack to your jaw, you've now still got to try to reorientate yourself as quick as you can and fight literally for your life, which is what he's done. Just that in and of itself. And then he's taken out that threat, or however many there were. I don't know if there was more than one. But even if there was just one, like, the odds are stacked against him. He's already been shot multiple times. He's already been fragged multiple times. He's already in a bad state. Now he's had this happen, and he's fighting for his life again. So that, then I think I heard him talking about, like, well, no, he did say he was holding his intestines when he got onto the chopper. Far out, man. Holding your guts in, holding your intestines in, that is part of like the medical training that they give you. You know, you make a little pouch, wet it, blah, 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 keep it moist, etc., secure it around. That's if and when you have time. I've never had to do that for real, but obviously a whole bunch of different trauma medical courses and stuff that you go through as a soldier in the military to hopefully have at least some idea of what to do in the event something like that happens. This guy didn't have anybody doing any of that. He's holding his intestines himself as he goes up into the chopper. His jaw's locked, can't talk. I think he spoke about blood all over his face and is starting to cake up in and around, so I don't know if he could open his eyes properly. But he manages to get into the chopper or be helped into the chopper. And I think I heard them say that they're putting him in a body bag, or you can hear the body bag and it's starting to be zipped up with him in it. And far out, can you just imagine? I can't imagine. I'm just listening to what he's saying, but your heart sinks. My heart sinks hearing that, right? He's alive. He's been put into this bag. He can't talk. I don't know that he can move. His hands are just where they are. Maybe he thinks he's moving, but he's not. Clearly not, because they think that he's dead. And they're zipping it up. They're zipping up the bag with him in it. And he's thinking, like he said, oh no, like I'm still alive, but all these things, he can't do anything. And then I think he mentioned somebody got the doctor to place a hand on his chest to check. And the part that made me laugh was him managing to spit whatever it was, blood, right into the face of the doctor. So yeah, we're glad he was able to do that too, which would have given the doctor a sign that, oh crap, hey, this fella's still alive. Let's not zip him up in this body bag. Far out. I'm so glad we're getting to hear him speak. There's still some more time, so hopefully we'll hear a bit more of him speaking as well.
After receiving his Medal of Honor, Master Sergeant Roy Benavidez became an advocate for veterans' issues to Congress. He also became an inspirational speaker and spoke to organizations, services, schools across the country and throughout the world. He inspired youth with his stories of selfless service and his sacrifice. Master Sergeant Benavidez died on November 29th, 1998, at age 63. He was buried with full military honors at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery.
Oh, we're going to get to hear him speak by the sounds of things, so I will come back to that. I didn't know that he had passed away in 1998. Wow, 63, young. I think that's young anyway. Man. What an awesome dude. And then he, I think he said when he retired, he was involved in veteran affairs type things to help veterans with any issues and stuff that they may have been going through. What a legend, eh? What a life of service. Not only whilst he was active, but post his service and still continuing to serve. That's beautiful, man. No doubt an inspiration to many, many people, and probably no doubt a reason why many people have chosen to and or want to serve in the Defence Force, whether it be in America or whether it be anywhere. Far out. How could you not be inspired by Mr. Benavidez, his actions, his selflessness, his service, his courage, his bravery? Oh, list goes on, eh? Cool. It doesn't look like it's about a minute left. Let's see what Mr. Benavidez has to say.
I'm asked hundreds of times, would you do it over again? In my 25 years in the military, I feel like I've been overpaid for the service to my country. There'll never be enough paper to print the money, nor enough gold in Fort Knox for me to have to keep from doing what I did. I'm proud to be an American, and even prouder. And I'm even prouder that I've earned the privilege to wear the Green Beret.
All right. Respect, brother. Powerful words, man. He feels like he's been overpaid to render the service that he's given to his country, to his peers, to his colleagues, to his brothers and sisters in the Defence Force, that there is not enough paper or gold in the whole of Fort Knox to stop him, to try to sway him from doing again what he did. Far out. My respect and admiration for this guy was already up here. Now it's just blinking. It's beyond that. It's crazy to me to see, hear, feel the words, like the sincerity coming through from this man. Wow, that is just amazing what he has been able to do. And so, yeah, I'm grateful to those that have sent out this video for me to do the reaction to. Thank you very much for sending this through. I can see why people have enjoyed or have watched Mr. Benavidez in terms of what he has done, and why people have reached out and asked me to do a reaction to his service, to his courage, and him being rightly awarded the Medal of Honor. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for your time and the comments and the recommendations and the suggestions that come through to this channel. I sincerely, genuinely appreciate it. What a video to react to. Thank yous. Just, this should be a movie. This 100% should be a movie as well. Far out. Anyway, I'm just still mesmerized by what I've just watched, what I've just witnessed, particularly by what I've just heard, especially at that last part. Like the citation and everything that he's done, incredible, phenomenal. But just hearing the words from this guy in the end, oh, yeah, dumbfounded. I don't have the words to describe the integrity and the character that this man has and shows, has displayed, and the impact that he's had on this world. Far out. Awesome. Massive respect, appreciation to Mr. Benavidez and his family. May he rest in peace. Anyway, that being said, team, thank you again. Anybody going through challenges, trials, struggles out there, you are not alone. Stay in the fight. Keep turning up. Keep going always a little further. Remember, who dares wins. Remember, there are better days ahead. The sun will shine again. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Appreciate you. Grateful for you. And until the next video, a big man away from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect and appreciation and gratitude.